Today we're going to talk about a sutta called Jata Sutta. I think the word Jata may have been a familiar word with you guys. Jata means matted hair. Remember the people uh, who lived at the Buddha's time called Jatilas? So those of them who had a matted hair. But I mean, a matted hair. There were, I guess, thousand followers of three Jatilas called Uruvela, Nadi, and Gaya. So they were very popular teachers at the Buddha's time who had around 1,000 followers. But that Jata is not the Jata that we're going to talk about today. Okay, so this Jata means a twist. We call entangle. Okay. Okay, what is a twist? What is the twist in this sutta? The twist means that we have been twisted. We are twisted with what? Craving. So the bigger concept is craving. Okay. Where are we twisted? In the samsara. Okay. So craving has twisted us in the samsara. So it is called tangle as well, twist or a tangle. Okay. So now we're gonna talk about what has twisted us in details, and why are we twisted, and how to disentangle this twist. Okay. So in the suttas we've been discussing the last few weeks, starting from I guess the last 2 weeks of February. They were the suttas mainly questions posed by some deities, devas, to the Buddha in verses, and then Buddha starts replying to those questions in verses as well. Now let me read the Pali stanzas, right? So if you know Pali, then you could find out the real authentic English translations. Okay. Jata Sutta. This is the 23rd sutta of Samyutta Nikaya. Anto Jata, Bahi Jata, Jataya Jatita Paja, Tantang Gotama Puchami, Ko Imam Vijataye Jatanti. I think you may have heard this, seen this stanza in a very famous book. What is it? Visuddhi Magga. Okay, Visuddhi Magga. Let me finish, reading the other Pali stanzas as well, and then we can discuss about it. Second stanza. So the first stanza is the stanza that Deva raised the question. Anto Jata Bahi Jata Jataya Jatita Paja Tantang Gotama Puchami Ko Imam Vijataye Jatanti. A tangle inside, a tangle outside. This generation, the whole folks, is not even the folks, including the every being, is entangled in a tangle. I ask you this, O Gautama. Gautama is another name for the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha. Who can disentangle this tangle? So that was the question raised by the Deva. Sile patittaya naro sapanyo chittang panyancha bhavayang atapi nipako bhikkhu so imam vijataye jatang. And Buddha talks about who can disentangle this twist or a tangle. And then yesang ragocha dosocha, he further explains how that particular individual is disentangling the whole process. Yesang ragocha dosocha avijjacha virajita kinasava arahanto tesang vijatita jata. Another stanza is the last stanza in the sutta. Yatta namancha rupancha asesang uparujjati patighang rupa sanyacha ettesa chijjite jatati. You have to be very careful, because some letters are aspirated letters in Pali, so you gotta pronounce them in the way that they've been given by the Buddha. Let's say when you say Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, that's the aspirated consonant, right? When there is an aspirated consonant in the Pali language, vowels and consonants, you gotta pronounce them with the aspirated consonant, like Buddha Saranang Gacchami. then you are pronouncing wrongly those Pali letters. Anyway, now let's take a look of what the Buddha said. A man or a human established on virtue, wise, developing the mind and wisdom, ardent and discreet, she can disentangle this tangle. Okay, what is virtue? Sila. Sila. Sile patittaya narosapanya. What is Sila in Buddhism? Buddhist teachings. Any idea about Sila?
The Panchasila?
I mean, the generic term called Sila. Panchasila is the basic Sila. But what is Sila? What is Sila?
Behavior or gnadisha.
Discipline, right?
Yes.
Basically discipline.
Yes.
So when we talk about discipline, then we talk about Sila, right? So Sila is a bigger concept. I think a lot of people nowadays, they forget about Sila and then trying to meditate right away, right? Because if you are not disciplined, then you are with a bunch of distractions. Let's say you light today morning, right? And you never think about taking precepts or maybe renewing the precept, and then you're going to meditate. Every moment you're trying to concentrate your mind, right? Assimilate your mind, and then what happens is that that thing pops up in the mind, not even lying, maybe all the other things. That's why we need to either maintain the precept that we already do, or renew them as soon as we can. Otherwise, we are struggling with the past memories or present situations. Okay, so Sila plays a bigger role. So before meditation, everybody must, stay in the Sila. So that's a prerequisite of any other thing. That's why when you go to a certain ceremony, Buddhist ceremony, monks usually give you precepts in the first place. They're not going to give a talk to you without giving you precepts. So that doesn't mean that you are you are impure, but that means that that's the beginning of that's the formal beginning of any ceremony, any activity. So Sila is the first thing. So to disentangle the twist called craving, one must maintain or renew the precepts. Now it is described further in 4 ways. Chatuparisuddhi Sila. Now what does Sila do to us? Purification. It purifies us, right? So if you don't, if you don't clean your house and you are bringing a lot of good things into your house, let's say your house is a mess, your room is a mess, but you still want to meditate. You don't arrange your bed, right? You don't arrange your books. Cups are everywhere, right? You don't do the chores, and then you're thinking, oh, I need to purify myself. Let's say you're not taking a shower, you are really unclean, right? That doesn't work. That's why when we teach meditation to kids, we are trying to tell them, okay, the first thing that you can do to start your practice of meditation is not just closing your eyes and then practicing what the monks or whoever telling you, but every morning you wake up, try to arrange your bed. When you arrange your bed, you are trying to go on a certain path. That is purity, that is cleanliness, that is clarity. So that clarity must be there to think about the clarity of the mind. When you don't see there is no clarity, it may be really difficult to find your clarity in your mind with your different events. So Sila. And then Sapanya, wise, wisdom. So wisdom is also a very big topic. Now the thing is, the Buddhist wisdom is different from the periodical wisdom that we know in the normal society. Let's say there is periodical wisdom. Let's say you are in a difficult situation, so where to start, where to go, when to start, what to do. So these WH things, they are related to periodical wisdom. But the Buddhist wisdom means trying to have a mentality, perspective, which has anicca, dukkha, anatta understanding. Okay, I think we talked about this many times in this sutta discussion. So what is anicca, what is dukkha, what is anatta, how we can combine these three together into a perspective. Okay. Anyone can give a thought about it? What is anicca to you? What is anicca? What is nicca? Nicca? Certainty? Permanence, right? Permanence.
Uncertainty, right?
Anicca means impermanence or change, right? So everything is subject to change. I mean, the deep word is impermanence. A lot of people don't understand it, like in the normal. So change is what everybody knows, and some people like it. I think that was the biggest campaign of Barack Obama, right? Election. Change. People like it, but people don't like the change with the negative stuff. When you pass the examination, when you get a good job, when you're getting promoted, you are really good. You really like it because that change, you take it without condition. But when you lose people that you like, when you fail the examination, when you are getting demoted, when you think that things that you thought wouldn't happen, you don't like to accept that change. This is the problem. I mean, that's why Buddha said, what was the word that he used in Pali? Yam picham nalabhati tampi dukkam. So yam picham. So one wishes something to happen, but it won't happen. But it will happen, but for the most of the time, it won't happen. Right? So in that case, Buddha said, this is a very natural thing. But people are messing around with this thing because they only take the positive change part. They don't take the negative change part. So if you can take a look at the both sides, they are pretty balanced out. This is what we are trying to do. So then, anicca is change, whatever the change is. Okay, so not even the changes. Now, changes are happening all the time. Even now, changes are happening. We are not the people who sat down here to meditate now. We are getting, evolved, right? Changes happen every millisecond, maybe for even a shorter period of that. But the problem is, being able to see the changes is the problem. Changes happen all the time, but are we able to see the changes that are happening? So, being able to see all the changes, subtle, big, all the changes in your life and around beyond you. Anicca. And nicca means not being able to see the changes, and you are stuck. You are arguing with people. You are extending hatred towards you to other people. You are complaining. You are doing all the negative stuff throughout the day, right? And then what is dukkha? So dukkha is also a very buzzword in the Pali language and also in the academia. Like as I told you a few times, the European scholarship is the first scholarship who translated the Pali books into the West. That may have been in the 18th century. Those of the scholars, not the scholar, those of the civil servants who went to Asian countries, they approached certain educated monks, erudite monks, and then they learned the way that they taught them. I'm not putting the blame on anybody, but things have happened, and they came back to the Europe and they translated. But the problem was they translated a lot of Pali texts based on the biblical canon, Holy Bible, right? They used the word called canon to the Tripitaka, which is not the exact word. Canon and Tripitaka is two different things, right? Canon is biblical, but teachings of the Buddha. And dukkha, they use the word called suffering, which has made a lot of new beginners of Buddhism to think that, Buddhism is a pessimistic, always talk about the negative side of everything. Where is the positive side of the life? They always talk about the suffering. So the thing is, like, if you take a closer look at where this dukkha, Pali term dukkha was used, then you can understand what is the real meaning of dukkha at different places. When you talk about the apayas, with the dukkha, it's a different form of dukkha. But dukkha in the wisdom means being able to see the dissatisfaction of of things that happen after anicca. Let's say when you see when you see the changes of anything, if you don't want to if you don't like accepting the truth or whatever that reality, then what happens? You are dissatisfied, right? So being able to understand the change and being able not to dissatisfy with the changes, right? So that perspective, anicca, dukkha. It's not like you are trying to see everything is, dissatisfying, unsatisfactory, but rather you try to see the positive and negative, all the aspects of the event. And then the most important aspect of the Buddhist teachings, anatta. What is atta? What is anatta? A dies, the authentic A traverses into the next life with being A, but it won't happen in Buddhist ideas, right? The Buddha says you are continuing without an identity. This is the biggest thing in the Buddhism. You are continuing until you attain Nibbana without an identity. But you can call, I have done a lot of good karma, but your whatever the repository of the good karmas are always changing. That's why a good person may go to a bad place when at the time of the death, because your last moment was not really clear with samadhi, right view. So there's no guarantee. The only guarantee is whether you can keep maintaining your good things at all times. Let's say you are doing a good thing, and if you are to think that, okay, now I'm good, I'm gonna do the way that I want, then you suddenly die. Then there won't be a good thing. Buddha says always keep maintaining your good things, regardless of whatever the other circumstances. Because the important thing is that we don't know when we die, but we know how many good karmas we can do. So that's the most important that we need to keep maintaining. So then what is atta? What is anatta? Atta means self-entity, but in the Buddhist teachings, Buddha says anatta, not self. How did Buddha talk about anatta? Okay, someone is to blame you for nothing, and then you're getting really confused because I was blamed for nothing. And then in a few seconds, in few minutes, you're going to take revenge and say, how come you blame me? I mean, if it is an official thing, you need to respond. But in your normal life, with your normal people, sometimes there is a person who is really grumpy and, trying to, get at you at different things. And then you are to think, okay, I was blamed a few minutes ago, but this I that was existed few minutes ago does not exist anymore because I have changed. So if you believe in anicca concept, anicca, one of the parts of the wisdom, Buddhist wisdom, how come you're getting really infuriated? You're getting really upset about it because the person that you think that was existed few minutes ago does not exist anymore. So think about how can you minimize your problems in your life without reacting to people. The problem is you are reacting right away, because you believe in self. So that's the place where we want to work on anatta. So if you have your perspective based on anicca, dukkha, anatta, that means changes, and then trying to look at the dissatisfying nature of everything, as well as the because when you think about dissatisfactory nature, then there is also a satisfying nature as well. So you're going to look at the both, and then looking at the anatta, not self concept, and you're going to mingle out or combine these three into any situation. Then you are good. Then you have wisdom. See, I mean, it is a lot when we're going to explain Buddhist wisdom. So then when you have sila, virtue or discipline, when you have Buddhist wisdom, and then there are two important things. Chittan, panyancha, bhavyang. There are two things to cultivate. Chittan and panya. What is chitta? What is panya? So chitta means you need to develop samadhi. And panya means you need to develop vipassana. So these are two things. So chitta means, so when you develop chitta, let's say you are developing your thoughts, that means you are developing your concentration, samadhi. Samadhi is a big topic. When you develop panya, I mean that thing that we just talked about, then you are improving, cultivating vipassana. So another word for Buddhist wisdom is vipassana. When you want to find out a Pali word for Buddhist wisdom, we want to separate out other wisdom from Buddhist wisdom, you can say vipassana is Buddhist wisdom that has anicca dukkha anatta. And when you cultivate your thoughts, then you are increasing your concentration. Are these two very important? Yes, they are really important. And I also think they go in tandem. They don't exist in isolation. You need concentration, then only you can cultivate vipassana. Right? So now, the person who wants to disentangle this, whole life with craving or tanha needs to, practice sila, and then what else? Concentration, chitta, and then vipassana, because sapanyo mean the same. Not even them. Atapi and nipako. What is atapi? Ardent. That is samma vayama. I think we talked about this thing many times. What is ardent? Now in Buddhism, if you know what to do, if you know when to start, if you know where to go, but if you run out of your energy, there's a big problem. Let's say you know how to drive properly, but you don't sleep properly. You can't drive then. You cannot apply the knowledge that you have. There are a lot of people who know Dhamma. They're reading a lot, they're watching a lot of YouTube conversations, but the problem is they're running out of their energy. They are drained for whatever the reason. Maybe the people around them, maybe the way that they spend their life, the day, maybe how they are trying to look at their theoretical knowledge into their practical life. That's why Buddha says we need to practice, we need to maintain right effort, with sila, chitta, and vipassana. So what is right effort? To put effort to develop the existing skillful activities in you. Let's say you are not killing, you are not stealing, you are not doing all the bad things. Then you need to increase the good things. So you have to put effort. Also, you need to decrease, let's say reduce the bad things you already have. So to put effort to do that. Also, at some point you may see that you don't have unskillful or bad things that you see in other people. You don't let yourself get surrounded by those bad things. So put effort, not let happen that. As also, you may sometimes perhaps see that other people may have good things that you may not have. Then you think that it is really important for me to understand and then to let them happen in my life. To put effort to make it happen. So there are 4 ways to maintain, practice right effort, which you call atapi. So that is a must. So sila, chitta, panya, and then right effort called atapi, which is called sammavaya. Nipako. What is nipako? Called discreet. Nipako means you are careful in your actions, thoughts, and words. Are you really careful when you are acting upon anything? Are you really careful when before you are talking? Are you really careful in taking thoughts? Not to the level that we are supposed to be. That's a problem. So nipaka is a very popular quality that we know in the Karaniya Metta Sutta as well. Can you remember that? Where do we find it? In which stanza? Santutti coach. Huh? You can't think about like isolated stanzas because you have a memorized way of understanding it. Karaniya matta kusalene antan santam pada abhisamicha sakko ujuja sujuja suachucha samudu animani santussa koja nipakoja. Nipako means careful in acting upon things, talking, and taking thoughts. I'm sorry. Santin riocha nipakocha. Santin riocha nipakocha. So santin rio means that you have restrained your senses, and then nipako means you are careful in acting upon, in thinking, in in your speech, which is not always happening to us. That's a quality. So then now you understand sila, chitta. That sila means virtue, chitta means concentration, panya means wisdom or vipassana. Atapi is vayama, sama vayama. Nipako is you are being careful in your three doors, speech, body, speech, and mind. These are the main things you need to disentangle your craving. I mean, this is a gist of the whole thing that you are to do in the Buddhist teachings. Not even that. Yesang ragocha dosocha avijjacha virajita. Kinasava arahantu tesang vijatita jata. Now, Buddha tells us, the nature of the arahants, right? Those for whom lust and hatred, or raga dosa, along with ignorance, have been expunged. These are the main things that we are struggling in our day-to-day life, right? Raga, dosa, and moha. So raga, so we are always attaching to people and things, and because of that, because those things won't happen the way that we want, and we are into hatred. We are hating the people that we liked before, right? And at the same time, we don't know what's going to happen. That is called avijja or moha. When you are attached too much, or maybe without a reason, maybe with a reason, but things don't happen the way that you expected, then you are pushing yourself to be angry. And that anger will take you somewhere you never know. That is avijja or moha, ignorance. So these are all combined one by one, back to back. So we need to work on that, at the same time with the other good qualities. So, I mean, when you work on sila, and then chitta, panya, discipline, concentration, wisdom, right effort, and supervision of your thoughts, words, and actions, then what happened? You can see what are the places, what are the big loopholes in your life. They are called raga, dosa, moha. Now Buddha talks about the contents of this whole process. Yatta namancha rupancha asesang uparujjate patighang rupa sanyacha ettesa chijjite jatati. Yatta namancha rupancha asesang uparujjate. What is nama and what is rupa? What is this? Buddha always says that there is no person, there is no man, there is no woman, there is no anybody, but there is 5 aggregates, which you call panchaskandha. But we use those conventional terms to recognize each and everybody, right? I mean, we don't call a person, okay, you are a bunch of 5 aggregates, right? That's too rude to say, right? But that is called conventional truth. Why we don't tell people that you are a bunch of 5 aggregates? That means that we are really polite and understand conventionally we exist. We call it sammuti satcha. Sammuti satcha means conventional truth. We don't call anybody that way. But on a side note, differently, on the other hand, we say paramatta satcha, ultimate truth. On the ultimate truth level, we say we don't talk that with the people that in a bad way, but we can contemplate on the Buddhist teaching. Yes, these people don't exist, but 5 aggregates. Okay, so in 5 aggregates, we separate out 5 aggregates. One is nama, one is rupa. So what is nama, what is rupa? So what are the 5 aggregates? Rupa kanda, vedana kanda, sanya kanda, sankhara kanda, vijnana kanda. What is kanda? Aggregate. And what is rupa kanda? What does rupa kanda mean? Huh? Okay, so it's the body, right? Not even the body, it is, what do you call the better word? There's a better word for rupa kanda.
Physical.
Huh? The physical, yeah, the physical part of your body or everything. When you refer to anything, any person, there is actually a being at this point. 5 aggregates refer to the beings, right? So let's say if you're gonna look at any body, any being, you get to see physical part of that person, called rupa kanda. And except the rupa kanda, the rest we call with the word nama. They are not physical parts. So what are they? Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara. What is Vedana? Feelings. Feelings. There are few types of feeling. What are the types of feeling we have? Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Sometimes people say, how do people say that it is neither good nor bad? Okay, how are you doing? Huh? How's your day? How do people respond to that in a neutral way? Huh?
Not too good,
Not too good, not too bad. Not that bad, right? Not that bad. So people have those emotions to say that it is neither good nor bad, right? Those are feelings. So there are three types of feelings: pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. And Vedana. Sanya. What is Sanya? Perceptions. Perception. What is a perception? What is a perception? Can you recognize a perception with your mind? Do we have perceptions? Yes. Before we think too much about anything, we have this perception level, right? So perception means that you are identifying at a level. And let's say you are trying to look at us and then think about, oh, I've been to many Dhamma talks, I've been to many Dhamma discussions, I've been to many temples. So you have the perception, and on the top of the perception, you're gonna look at what you've been doing now. Perception is always there. That is most related to the subjective understanding, which will take us to a fussy, tricky point in our life. Let's say sometimes there is a new person, but we're going to look at the new person from the previous people, which is too bad, right? So perceptions, anyway. So it's like previous knowledge of anything to make you understand what you really seeing, doing other things. And then Sanya, Sankhara. What is Sankhara? Sankhara formations, or what do you call? Fabrications. Like with perception, what you do is you are making karma. Every moment you have perception with intention, then what? Actually, you have intention. That's why you are going to look at that nature from a past thing. Then formations. What are the formations? Good karma, bad karma, neutral karma. Right? There are a lot of karma, sankharas. And then vijnana, consciousness. So see, these are called nama. These four: Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. The first one called Rupa. Now Buddha says one has to stop these both. At the ultimate level, when you want to really disentangle the craving. Not even just to stop, but also to stop without remainder, without leaving any point of panchakanda. Patigang rupa sanyaja. Also, impingement and perception of all these relate to the two other places where beings are born. There are three main places where beings are born. We call Kamaloka, Rupaloka, and Arupaloka. These three, make us really tricky about the Nibbana. Because if you are born in any of these places, you may have a support to attain Nibbana, but still you are in the Sansara, right? So that's why Buddha says we need to, overcome Patigha and Rupa Sanya. And then that's how you can disentangle. Now, for example, if you're gonna look back and recap what we've been talking now, we need to improve discipline, which is called Sila, and then concentration, and Vipassana, called Buddhist wisdom, as well as right effort and supervision of our actions, thoughts, and words. And then we need to give up as much as possible these three things: raga, dosa, moha, attachments, not that attachment, excessive attachments, and then anger, and then ignorance. And it has, and then if you take a look at all these things, you understand what we all doing is to get away from five aggregates. That's the original path. Okay, so this is what Buddha said to the Deva, how to disentangle, how to get away from this twist. So we are twisted in the samsara by craving, and how to get away from, disentangle from craving is to practice all those good things, and also to get away from the bad things. Raga, dosa, moha. Any questions? Now, as we are going further in the Samyutta Nikaya, we get to understand there are more stanzas are coming up in the suttas. Now, in the previous weeks, we had only two verses, but now, because they have been compiled in a way that is easy to understand, but today we had 4 stanzas. Okay. Any questions about disentangling or
the concept of perception?
Perception.
And what's the difference between that and preconceived notions?
I think it is very much the same, because when you are preconceived, that means you already have a lot of sanya, a lot of perceptions. So because you have a preconceived mindset, you are pretty much using that mentality to see the new things, which of course is good at some point, but not good at all the time. Let's say when you have a guess about anything, it's good, but if you're gonna use guessing for everything, you might not give the justice to the thing. Let's say Buddha said we have to practice objective understanding, objective perspective rather than subjective perspective, but the both lead us to understand everything. But if you only work on subjective understanding, which has preconceived notions, mentality, that might not give us a clear picture of what's going on, because you always refer to the past, previous event, situations. Pretty much the same. So the only difference is a new word, preconceived notions, but not perception. Okay?
No, I have a question, Mike.
Yeah, please.
Is it the same thing now? We were discussing about the Sila, Samadhi, Prajna and 2 other things in this sutta. And it's basically the which are in the Arya Ashtangik Marga.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it is in the same.
Yeah, because this is just a response, a reply to a deva. And so the way Deva asked the question, the way how it was responded by the Buddha. So if you take a look at a Majjhima Nikaya sutta, like Samadhi or what's the sutta which has everything, Mahachattalisaka, there is the clear explanation. I mean, which Sila, Samadhi, Panya. But to give an answer to Deva, Buddha uses these words from a scratch. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. But I think this is really clear for everybody. That's why I forgot to tell you. When Venerable Buddha Ghosa came to Sri Lanka in 5th century, 5th AD, what happened? The monks at Mahavihara Anuradhapura said to him, okay, before you're gonna translate, Sinhalese commentaries to the Tripitaka, we need to test upon your ability. So you need to write a Pali book, which is neither a commentary, but like a thesis, a dissertation of the whole Tripitaka, like Sutta, Suttas, Vinayas and Abhidhamma. So please write a book and we will check your knowledge and then let you translate the Sinhalese. Because Atthakathas were in Sinhalese before. For some reasons they were, I don't know, they were missing. And now they are in Pali language. So they were in Sinhala language before. Now they are missing. And then what happened? He wrote this book called Visuddhi Magga, the path of purification. In that book, his abstract is these 2 stanzas actually. So that means this is the gist of Visuddhi Magga. If you have ever, by chance, read the path of purification, now just give a thought. Venerable Buddha Ghosa, took those stanzas from the Jata Sutta in Samyutta Nikaya. It's the same. Okay, so let's wrap this up. Share all the good karmas with the departed relatives and the devas. May all the departed relatives share in all these good karmas and be happy and peaceful. May they also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Let's share all the good karmas with the deities who protect and bless all of us. May all the deities share in all those good karmas, and then protect and bless all of you, your family members and everybody, for good health, long life and all the prosperity. May they be happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahiddhika anumoditva chirang rakkantu loka sasanam. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu desanam. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu mang paranti. Finally, let's make a great wish. May all the good karmas that we've been collecting so far help all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silisse niccang vaddhapachayino chattaro dhamma vaddanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sakka sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminate samicchatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's bow down to the Buddha 3 times.